We'll start off with the offense, and then we will get into what Joe Witt had to say about the defense in our pick 6 at 6, starting with number 1. Anthony, do you have the big fancy numbers prepared for us today?
Number 1.
Ooh la la, the big fancy numbers. Let's get into it, taking a look at some of what Kliff Kingsbury had to say, starting with the growth of the second-year players. That, of course, is most prominently Jayden Daniels, although there's some very important other ones as well. But with a guy who played so unbelievably well as a rookie, like, what do you want to see? Well, if you're his coach, probably a lot, because you have the most keen eye. So here's Kliff on the improvement he wants to see from Jayden in year 2.
There's been a bunch of really good throwaways to keep us in manageable situations. So, carrying out his fakes at a higher level, he's just really treating each practice rep as a game, and that is showing up.
Simple. Just get those details even more locked in. I think that's something that has made Jayden special is I think Jayden has an ability to distill information that's really important. In other words, like, here's all this stuff that's got to happen, but like, what's the thing that I need to know? What's the most important thing? What's my role in this? So let's make sure the line's set. Let's make sure the blocking's set. Let's do this. But then, like, ultimately, when I say set hut, I got to carry out this play fake. So what does that look like? Or let's make sure we do it really well in the drill when that's the main focus and there's not anything else. We don't have to set the line. We don't have to do any of these other things. My job is to do this play fake. That way, when I'm worried about all that other stuff, I just operate at a higher level when I'm on autopilot in the game. Down distance situation, learning how to manage that, keep that stuff in mind at a higher level, knowing when a throwaway is okay, or when you should force it, or when you should run. Like, all that stuff really, really matters. And while it's really easy to be pretty good without that stuff locked in at the highest level, it's impossible to be great without it. And that is the level that Jayden Daniels is striving for in year 2. Luke McCaffrey striving for, can I be consistently good? That would be great. What is Kliff Kingsbury seeing from his second-year receiver?
Yeah, that's been, if you're going to find silver linings, some of those other guys being asked to step into starting type roles, and us as coaches figuring out, hey, worst case scenario, if these two guys, Noah and Terry, got hurt, what would this look like? How would we play personnel groups? What we need to do to maximize that group? So we've been working through that. But Luke has really come a long way from last year this time to now. Just the confidence. We're playing him outside a lot for necessity. I think he can play inside as well. But he's made some plays. The young kid's had his number on some plays. But it's been a good battle, and he's definitely night and day difference from what he was last year at this time.
It's something that I remember seeing in the spring. Just, he's faster, the explosive athleticism that he has showed more. And so if they can get that on a somewhat regular basis in year 2, and then he can become a real consistent player in year 3, for a guy that's a very late third-round pick, basically a fourth, he was a compensatory third-round pick, that's good stuff. That's what you're looking for. But there's only one group of players that you like to talk about more than second-year guys, and that's the rookies. So that's what we asked about next in our pick 6 at 6.
Number 2.
Kliff Kingsbury asked about the young guys on the offensive side of the ball, specifically his first and his fourth round pick. So let's start first. Here is Kliff on Josh Connerly Jr.
Your guy is super talented. Has everything you want. He's made the adjustment from left to right tackle, and I think there's still some fundamental stuff that he's got to get used to playing over on the right side, which takes some time, but he's game. Asks great questions, studies hard, works hard, so he's pretty much right where we expect him to be.
And that's good, coming from the guy who wanted him. Remember, it was Kliff who slid the note on Adam Peters' desk saying, hey, please take the tackle from Oregon. Thanks, Kliff. So we know that Kliff wants to see Josh Connerly. He's very invested in his success, as you would be for any player, but especially when you personally put your stamp on it. Like, you really want to be right about that, and you're going to work hard to make yourself right about that. I'd assume he also very much wanted Jaylen Lane, the explosive Middle Tennessee State to Virginia Tech transfer, who I saw a play earlier today that was floating around Twitter where he looked very, very much like a young Terry McLaurin. It was a play from back in the Middle Tennessee State days, and he just caught a slant, and he was gone. That said, he's got a lot more comparisons to Deebo, and he is listed on the depth chart, unofficial, that came out today, behind Deebo in terms of being more of a slot guy. But all that said, Kliff Kingsbury, enough about me talking about Jaylen Lane. Here's Kliff on the Commanders' rookie wideout.
He's been very impressive. He's a coach's kid, been around the game his entire life, and if you tell him how to do it one time, he usually nails it. And then if he makes a mistake, he'll come back and get it corrected. But super, super talented, very fast. I've been really impressed. I don't think I could see some of those things at Virginia Tech. Watching the film and getting him here in person and watching him run around and watching the coachability and the route tree that he can run, it's been really impressive.
Going to be interesting to see where he winds up, how big his role is offensively in year one. I do think it will continue to grow because of his coachability, because of his skill set, all that kind of stuff. But how ready is he right now? He is an older player, so exciting to see what he can do. Of course, there's one other rookie everyone wants to know about. We'll get to that as part of number 3 in our Pick 6 at 6.
Number 3.
That would be Bill. But first, Kliff Kingsbury on the running back group as a whole.
A lot of guys that can play. I think there's probably 6 or 7 guys that'll end up being on a roster this year out of that room, which is a credit to those guys and the job Coach Lynn does with them. But, Bill, for a young guy, loves football, competes, very explosive. Like, he got ruled ineligible at Arizona and stayed and played scout team the whole year, which is like nobody would do that, So that tells you right there the type of passion he has for it, and it shows up. So that was a exciting kind of pick for us and what he's shown so far. And then Austin Eckler looks as good as ever. We got B-Rob. We know what he is. C-Rod, J-Mac, Kaz, Felton's done good. So I think there's 6 or 7 guys that are going to make rosters. And so it's been great competition in that room.
And, of course, as mentioned in there, you have Bill as a part of that, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, the 7th-round pick. Also worth mentioning, Deebo Samuel is going to get some reps at the running back spot. So it's a pretty crowded room that Kliff and Anthony Lynn and the staff are trying to sort out.
Yeah, I like the group we have. There's no doubt. Bill's had some good flashes for a young guy. We'll see as we get into these competitive periods with other teams and preseason games. But the Deebo, I remember being in Arizona, just the matchup issue where you don't know what personnel group they're in because they had McCaffrey and him, and sometimes McCaffrey's wide out, he was running back and vice versa. It's just, you can do a lot of different things. So that to me is the most exciting thing when it comes to game planning and finding ways to get him touches.
Going to be a lot of fun to see how the usage package goes, who makes the team. Lot to work out in joint practices.
This is The Hoffman Show on the Team 980 and the Odyssey app.